Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can probably already tell by the title of this video, I am going to be doing a little bit of a mukbang Q&A style video. I've never really done anything like this before, I don't think. So yeah, I just thought it'd be quite a good video to just sit down, answer some questions that you might have, and yeah, just have a little bit of a chat really. Couple of things to say before the video. Still not got a microwave oven in the background, so if you're wondering what that big gap is there for, that is the reason. Still waiting to hear on when we're gonna get that. Also, it is literally like over 30 degrees, which if you're not based in the UK, you're probably thinking, so what? If you are based in the UK, you'll know it is so hot. And I'm currently sat in probably the hottest part of this house, which is our kitchen. So I've got the bifolds in front of me, the sun is shining in, I'm already sweating, so yeah, I'm going to try and get through as many questions as I can before I pass out. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. I did pick up a little McDonald's for this video, but I'm not going to lie guys, oh my Coke's over there. I had a bit of a bad McDonald's experience. That wasn't very good on the dips, okay, so I've had chicken nuggets, yum. Had some medium fries and some amazing mozzarella dippers. But you know the salsa dip that usually comes with the mozzarella dippers? They didn't have any, or at least they didn't give me any. So I've not got any of that. I usually have sour cream dip, which is phenomenal if you've not tried it from McDonald's. Oh my god, it's unreal. They didn't have that. And they didn't even have any ketchup. Like, come on McDonald's, please get it together. Anyway, now I'm all ready with my food. Let's dive in. Oh, it's all over my thumb. Ooh. Let's just dive into the video. So, first question. There was a lot of house related questions, so I've kind of grouped a few of them together where, do you know what I mean? A lot of them are very similar, so I think quite a good one to start with is, how did you find your new home? Simple answer really, found it on Rightmove. However, the story of how we actually came to buy it is probably a little bit more interesting. So it'd always been on the cards for a couple of years that we knew we were going to move soonish, but we decided in December that that was the right time for us to move. So yeah, and then we had a little look, but there was nothing really around Christmas time. Usually the market is a little bit dead, so we thought, right, we'll go into the new year, start a house search. And we thought we saw a couple of houses that we liked, both of them new builds, and one of them we came really close to buying. So it was actually the day before we were due to go into the sales office and put, you know, you go and put your reservation fee down to obviously reserve your house. So we were due to do that on the Monday, and then on the Sunday, I got the wobbles, I got cold feet, and I was on the sofa and I said to Andy, there's just something about that house, I don't know, it's not ticking all the boxes. And he thankfully was literally like, oh my god, I'm so glad you've said that because I think the same thing. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to have a little look on Rightmove. And then I saw this house. So Monday morning, we had to ring up a bit sheepishly the sales office, where the house we were meant to go and reserve, and say, look, decided against it, no thank you. Called up the estate agents for this one and said, can we go and have a look? Obviously we know it's not built yet, and they said, oh, we actually can't meet you to go and like look around the property today. Is Wednesday okay? Anyway, we were kind of just sat talking about it, and we kind of just said, should we just drive and go and see it? You know, it's not like we're turning up to someone's house where they're actually living in it and saying, oh, we're just gonna have a look around, don't mind us. We knew it wasn't built, it's just gonna be a few bricks. So we were just like, should we just drive and see it for ourselves? We don't need an estate agent to go and pull up outside and just look at it. So we just went and drove. But yeah, anyway, we pulled up outside, loved the area that it was in. The builders really kindly let us both like look around. They were really chilled, really sound. And yeah, they let us out like into the back garden to see like the size of like the plot, and we just instantly fell in love and knew that it was the right house. Like we knew 100%. As soon as we both got back in the car to drive home, we knew we were putting an offer in on this house. So we put in an offer, it was accepted on the same day, and yeah, that was it. So that was literally how we found the house. We actually found out there'd actually been another couple due to come and view this house on the Tuesday. So we obviously turned up on the Monday and put in our offer. There was actually a couple coming back for their second viewing and basically just confirmed that, yeah, they want to buy this house, and they would have put in an offer on the Tuesday. So if we had have waited for the estate agents to come and view this house on the Wednesday, chances are the other couple would have put in an offer and had it accepted. And we probably would have missed out on buying the house. So word of advice, if you think the house is the one, you've got to go with it. You've got to be proactive, and if circumstances allow, obviously don't turn up to someone's house if they're still living in it. But if you can, you've sometimes just got to take the matter into your own hands, I think, if it's something you really, really want. So I'm glad that we just came on that day and got chatting with the people. So yeah, that's how we found this house. Okay, that probably leads me really well into my next question, which is, how have you got to have so much say in your new house finishes? Is it a new build? A few questions very similar of, is it a new build? What developer? Is it? And all of that. So yes, it is a new build house. But I think where the confusion comes in there is, I think a lot of people hear the word new build and they instantly assume a new build house on a new build estate by a big developer, you know, like your Barrett, your David Wilson, your Bovis. I think that's what people assume. Don't forget, you can just build a house, you can buy a plot of land and build a house on it, and it's a new build house because it's new. And that's literally what happened in this case. So this isn't a house by like one of the big developers. It was just built by an independent builder who bought this plot of land in a really quiet village and built a house on it. And then we also have our next door neighbours, which I think where the confusion is coming, because I think I've said before about our neighbours still building the house. So our next door neighbours are self-build, so they've bought the plot of land that was available next door, and they're actually living in a caravan while they build their house themselves. We were very, very lucky to be able to come across a new house in such a quiet area, because one of the things we said when we moved is there were two things that we kind of knew we wanted. We kind of wanted a house with a little bit more privacy, because obviously our last house was a new build on a new build estate. It was a little bit overlooked, there was a lot of people around, and just for the next chapter of our life, we knew the next house that we bought would be in for quite a long time. So in order to find a house within the kind of location and privacy that we wanted, we weren't looking at new builds, we were looking at, you know, second homes, older houses. But the problems that we're finding is a lot of the older houses, they just weren't built for modern living. They weren't very like open plan. Essentially, if we'd have bought an older house, we knew that we'd have had to do a big renovation on it from day one to make it what we wanted. And just personal preference at this stage in our life, it just wasn't something we were looking to do. We kind of wanted a house that felt a little bit more ready. Obviously, we've still, you know, we're going to work on this house, but, you know, from the bare bones of it, this house ticked all of our boxes, whereas the other houses just didn't. So that was when we kind of backtracked a bit and said, you know, maybe the whole privacy thing, maybe we are just better off looking for a new build and a new build estate, accepting that it's not going to be as private as we'd like, but it's going to be the size that we'd like and it's going to tick all of the boxes. We nearly bought a red row home, but the whole reason I kind of got like cold feet about it was it just didn't tick all the boxes for us. So yeah, when we found this one just being built by an independent individual builder, we literally felt like we'd won the lottery. We were like, oh my god, we can't believe we found this house. So yeah, basically the reason we were able to have so much say in it is because at the stage in which we bought the house, not a lot was done. Pretty much nothing was done on the inside. So like you would when you're buying, you know, your new build by a big developer where you go in and, you know, you choose your options, your flooring, your kitchen and all of that, we were able to do that, but just on a little bit more of like a specific level. So I think when you do it through a developer, like a big developer as we did with our first home, it's all very, I feel like it's all very computerized and very robotic. You know, you're given, you know, here's 10 tiles to choose from, which ones do you want? Whereas in this case, it was just one-to-one. So it was literally like the builder would send us a WhatsApp and be like, I'm going to pick the skirting boards today, which ones do you want? And we were like, It was almost like there was too much choice at some stages, but it was really, really nice being able to like have a say in things and just being able to choose the little things and not being restricted. I could just go online and be like, I've seen these, can we do like this? And yeah, but that's why we were able to do those things. I also had a lot of these kind of questions of advice that you have about moving, things you'd wish you'd known before. Because we'd been through the process before, this is our first house. Obviously we bought our last home we were in, lived in there for 5 years. So we were familiar with the process. There wasn't a lot of things that we kind of didn't expect. However, we 100% had curveballs and stresses. 9 times out of 10, I'm not saying this to be negative, but there will be delays. You can't be an optimist when it comes to buying and selling houses. So don't set big dates in your mind of thinking, right, we'll be in the house for that, so then we'll do this on this day. And you've really just got to be prepared for the worst at every single stage. And I know that sounds so negative, but that's only because there were so many times that I got my hopes up of being given a new move-in date, and then that was moved. So we were originally, this house was supposed to be finished at the end of April. It wasn't finished until the end of June, which actually isn't that long, but we had a lot of stress in the meantime, which I will go into. So something else that I think I'd wished I'd kind of known, because this was the first time we'd ever sold a house. When you're in a chain, so most of you will be obviously familiar with what that means, but for those of you that don't know, when you're in a chain, when it comes to buying and selling houses, what that means is you're kind of limited with what you can do in terms of the process of buying a new house, because you're being held up by the people buying your house. So there's a chain reaction, and what I'm saying is there's a chain of things that has to happen in order for you to carry on with your process. So for example, we could not exchange contracts with the guy building this house. So basically that kind of solidifies everything. That says in writing to everyone, yeah, you're going to buy this, you've got to sell it to these people, that's what's happening. We could not exchange contracts until we'd exchanged contracts with the people buying our current house. So until they'd exchanged with us, we couldn't exchange with them because we were in a chain. So something I would say in terms of like advice and things I wish we'd known is, as much as it can be really exciting, the prospect of, you know, getting an offer on your house and selling, do your due diligence with who is buying your house and what their circumstances are, because the highest offer might not necessarily be the easiest and most straightforward. So we had numerous offers on our house. I think we had 5 offers in total, and it went to best and final. So basically that's when everyone puts forward their best offer and we go with it. And obviously we went with the best offer. But in hindsight, if I'd known the stress that I'd have had going with that offer, was it worth the extra couple of grand? No, absolutely not. It wasn't worth that stress that it put on us. Find out, are they having a mortgage? Are they a first-time buyer? What are they buying? Are they buying your house to rent it out? Or, you know, just try and find out who they are. Do you know what I mean? So what we didn't know about our buyers is that they had no intention of exchanging contracts with us before the day of completion. So usually in most house buying and selling processes, you exchange contracts, which kind of, as I said, says, yeah, we're going to buy this house. Everyone can kind of breathe, like it's in writing, you know, you're not going to suddenly back out and go, actually no, I don't want to sell it, bye. Everyone can kind of breathe. And then you complete when the house is ready to move into. So we were kind of like pushing and pushing and pushing for our buyers to exchange contracts, because we were getting a lot of pressure from our builder of this house, like, can we exchange contracts now? Like, come on, why isn't this done? I think at one point they were probably thinking, are we even serious about buying this house? Because we've talked the talk, but we're not actually signing the contract. And we couldn't, because our buyers hadn't signed theirs to buy ours. Very, very, very stressful. So we were kind of trying to explain the situation of, look, we're trying to speed things along. But I'd say one of the biggest stresses overall for us was that it never felt safe, because we had never exchanged with our buyers. So basically there was nothing to stop our buyers from turning around and being like, actually, do you know what, we found something else, see you later, which meant it would have just sent everything, you know, up in the air. And there was also nothing to stop the builder of this house to be like, do you know what, you're messing me around. I'm not going to sell this to you, I'm going to put it back onto the market and, you know, go with someone that isn't going to mess me around. Those are the situations we found ourselves in. So we moved into this house on the Friday, and on the Tuesday, so 3 days before we were supposed to move in, probably the most stressful, upsetting day. Anyway, we had our buyer ring us and say, just to add some context, we'd been having a lot of stresses with solicitors and things like that. But anyway, they called us 3 days before we were due to hopefully move in and said, look, we can't do this. We are so stressed. We are thinking of just pulling out altogether. So as you can imagine, stress. And then like literally an hour later, the builder of this house rang up and said, if this isn't done today, guys, the house is back on the market. Oh, it's done. So as you can imagine, we were just beside ourselves with stress, and you know, luckily it all worked out in the end. All in all, guys, I wouldn't recommend exchanging and completing on the same day. I think anyone that's been through it will tell you the same. It's stressful knowing that up until the very last second that pen is put to paper, anyone in the chain could pull out and ruin everything, and that was the biggest stress for me. So yeah. Do your due diligence, make sure you know your buyers are aware of the process and they're happy to exchange weeks before you complete. And yeah, I'd say that was biggest stress and what I've learned. Another question was, did you struggle to find a mortgage doing what you do for work? Really great, valid question, to be honest. Honestly, no, because what I do is just seen as any other form of self-employed work. As long as you've got your accounts to back up what you're earning, that's all they're interested in. So I had my accountant do my most recent 2 years worth of earnings, and yeah, they were happy with that, and that was it. Okay, I feel like I'm just going to answer a couple more house-related questions and then move on to something else. So guys, I'm not going to lie, I just had to take a 5-minute break because I was sweating so much, but you know, through the power of editing, you won't know that. So let's continue with the video. So someone's asked, how did you know this house was the one? Had a couple of viewings so far, but just not getting the vibe. I think one thing that really helped us is we had a checklist, basically, of everything that we knew we wanted in our next house. So some things on that checklist were non-negotiable and some things were just like a nice to have. So for example, when we were looking for this house, a non-negotiable for us was it needed to have an office downstairs, or at least a room that, you know, could be an office or a study, so that with me and Andy both working from home, we have to be on different floors because, as I've mentioned before, he's in a job where he's on the phone for a lot of the day, I'm in a job where I'm talking to a camera for a lot of the day. So if we're on the same floor and we can hear each other, I can't be filming a video like this and have him in the background having like a confidential meeting over Zoom, do you know what I mean? Just the same as he can't be presenting to a board of CEOs and he's got me, and they can hear me in the background being like, so today guys, I'm going to use this bronzer. Like, it just doesn't work. So yeah, that was like a non-negotiable for us. But a nice to have that we had on our list was utility room. If we'd found the perfect house but it didn't have a utility room, would it have mattered? No, it was just something that we thought, oh, it'd be really nice to have that, but it's not the be all and end all. Obviously you have to be realistic and understand what you can afford and what you can get with your budget. Like, you know, you're not gonna get a 10-bedroom mansion with a swimming pool for 50k. So yeah, I think be realistic of what you can get and just make your list of your non-negotiables. And then last house question, is this your forever home? I always say never, because we don't know how much our circumstances might change. If I won the lottery tomorrow, I might want to buy a new house. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Put it this way, if this did turn out to be my forever home, I wouldn't be upset. I would love it if this was my forever home. But you just don't know how circumstances are going to change. You know, we might decide in 10 years' time it isn't the right house for us anymore and we might want to live in a different part of the country, or, you know, so many factors that can change in life. You know, we're not trees, we're not planted and rooted into the ground, we can move. So yeah, if it was my forever home, I wouldn't be mad. And we've kind of bought it with the intention that it has the potential to be a forever home if we need it to be, i.e. it's got more bedrooms than we currently need for, you know, if we decide to have children, we can accommodate. And also there's other things like with the garden and being a good size, you know, I'm just picking things out the air here, but if we just suddenly decided we wanted to build, I don't know, an office in the garden or a stable for a horse. Andy's going to be watching this video like, I thought this was a good question. How come you never post pics with Andy? I take it that's obviously like referring to Instagram, so I feel like Andy is on my YouTube channel. If you watch my vlogs, he's usually in the background, he's usually appearing. I think the simple answer to that is that there's probably two reasons why I don't post pictures of me and Andy. One, that my Instagram to me is my business. I post obviously fashion content and all of that sort of stuff. I'm paid by brands to advertise for them and create content for them. And so for me, I perhaps don't view or I perhaps don't use Instagram the same way that a lot of people do. I don't use it to share like personal holiday pictures or things like that. I'll share stuff like that in my stories, but not really on my page. It's just not relevant to what I do. It's the same as why doesn't Andy post family pictures on his LinkedIn page, you know? It's just that that's his business and Instagram is my business, so that's why I don't tend to share like more personal things on there. But that's why I vlog on YouTube, because I think that's where I show a lot more of like my personal life. But also, second reason is Andy's just a very private person. He doesn't use Instagram himself really. He doesn't upload pictures on his account. But yeah, no, he just doesn't use it himself. So like he wouldn't be all that comfortable with me sharing pictures of me and him when he doesn't even, you know, he doesn't share it to his 200 followers. But yeah, just for pure transparency, he is just more private. He's, you know, he's never going to be one of these like YouTube husbands or YouTube boyfriends that has a massive role in everything that I do. You know, he doesn't work for me, or, you know, obviously he helps me get content sometimes and things like that. But yeah, it's, you know, this is my channel, it's my Instagram page, and I don't like to muddy the waters, you know. I like to keep some things just private, just for me. And that's it. Speaking of Andy, this question did make me laugh. Someone said, does your hubby, not my hubby, Andrew, does your hubby fund your lifestyle? Absolutely not. No. I think some people can get the wrong impression with influencers. I don't do this for a job because I don't need to work. This is work. This is how I earn my money. We both earn money in our own jobs, and that is it. I used to work full time for a company in like sales and marketing, and I discussed the prospect to him of going full time with this, because at that point it was making the same amount of money as my regular full time job was. And it was of the understanding of when I start to earn the same amount of money that I earned in my full-time job on a regular basis, we actually set it as 3 months. When I earn the same money 3 months on the trot, then you can leave and do that. So no, in no way, shape or form has he ever funded this lifestyle. No, we're obviously a couple. We've been together 8 years. There's been scenarios where he has helped me out with some money in some stages of life, and I've helped him out with money. You know, we both work, we both earn, and we both build everything we've got together. There's no disparity or anything like that. Trust me, it's not like he goes out to work so I can just fanny about the clothes at home. Do you know what I mean? It's not that. So no, is the short answer to that. He doesn't fund lifestyle. It's very, very equal. Okay, someone's also asked, do you have any work projects? I can't wait for you to release something and be able to support you. First of all, that is really, really lovely. Thank you so much. The fact that you'd even even before I've said if I have got anything, the fact that you would want to support me is just really, really, really nice to hear. The answer is yes and no. So there is something kind of on the back burner, chugging away, which I'm just going to be completely transparent. I'd have loved to have released this year, but because of buying the house and the way everything's worked out, it just wasn't the right timing. I wouldn't have been able to deal with the stress that this house was giving me and the stress of launching my own business. Kind of giving it away a bit by saying that, but yeah, there is definitely something that I am working on and kind of putting my time into. But I don't want to put pressure on myself and put a date on when that will happen, because I will only do it when it's perfect and ready. But yeah, there's definitely something. And the reason I say no as well is there have been projects that have been presented to me. So in the form of edits, collections, things with brands. And the reason I brought it up is just to be transparent with you and to let you know that some things don't happen. So I've said no to things because I haven't felt like it was very me and very authentic to me. So at the end of last year, I had an offer to have a collection with a big fashion brand, which was really, really flattering and really exciting. And it was kind of a bit of a pinch me moment of, wow, I've got this, offering from this big brand. But ultimately, in the end, I decided not to go ahead with it because I personally just felt like it wasn't authentic to me. The brand itself, nothing wrong with the brand itself, it just wasn't a brand that I personally had really spent money on a lot of the time, or hadn't really I don't know, it wouldn't be my go-to. If I was to choose out a pool of brands, it probably wouldn't be my first pick. And so yeah, I just think there's something very disingenuous of me to sit here and say to you, go and buy this, this top because it's my edit and I'm working with them. You go and spend your money on it, even though I've not spent any money with this brand in the last 3 years. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't the right fit for me. So yeah, I think the point I'm trying to make is that I'm obviously really flattered that you would want to see something from me. That's really nice to hear. But I think the point I'm trying to make is when that moment does happen, it's only going to be for the right fit. Whether that's an edit with another brand or bringing out my own thing, I'll only ever do it when it's right and 100% just authentic to me. And yeah, so hopefully when the time comes, guys, you'll know that I'm blooming serious about it. And then I think I'm going to end it on this one, which is a bit of a random one, but tips for making new friends in your late 20s. It's so hard. As someone else in their late 20s, I can fully relate. It is so hard. I genuinely wish that I could answer this question so much better, but I feel like I need the tips myself. Like, it's something that I struggle with all the time. I do get bouts of just feeling really lonely, and I think in this line of work, people probably think it's super sociable. It's not all that sociable for me, personally. I spend nearly every day essentially talking to an inanimate object, this camera, and I don't go into an office to see people, and obviously I'll go to events, but I do find it hard sometimes. I feel like I'm quite introverted until I've had a glass of Prosecco. But so I struggle as well, because I also think I'm the kind of person that I don't like to force a friendship. I find it a bit icky. Do you know what I mean? I like a friendship to develop organically, and I feel like my kind of people probably think the exact same way. So neither one of us want to make the move. I wish I had advice for you, and it's probably such a bad way to end this video, but I just don't, because it's something that I struggle with as well, and it is really, really hard. But all I can say is there are different levels to friendships. You don't, you know, not everyone needs to be best friend. Not everyone, you know, there are some people that I, you know, obviously class as friends, but would I call them at 3 in the morning, you know, if I was broke down? Probably not. But would I meet them, you know, would I go out with them, go for drinks and go and do fun stuff with them? Yeah. And then there are some friends that I literally class as family to me, and do anything for and treat as if they were my family. So don't get caught up on the idea of, you know, some friends can just be surface level friends. So it might, you know, you might actually have more friends in your life than you think, and you just need to put some more energy into that. But no, I can completely sympathise because it's blooming hard. But anyway guys, what a weird note to end the video on. I'm going to end that here because I feel like I've been babbling on for ages. I've had to take multiple breaks because I am sweating. I'm probably going to watch this footage back and be like, you look like a sweaty mess. Film that again tomorrow, but it's just getting hotter and hotter, guys. It's really hot. But anyway, I really hope you enjoyed that video, guys, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.